prize money.
Bryan Goebel, very confident coming into this game. Disposed of the all-time leading money winner, Marshall Holman. Now has to take on another two-time Firestone winner, Mark Williams.
And a player who hasn't won in 3 years. Goebel starts with a strike on the left-hand lane. Well, he has been a player who has certainly taken advantage of his appearances in the championship round.
Television doesn't scare him. He bowls very well out there.
Doesn't bother this guy either.
No, this is one of the clutch bowlers of all time here.
See where he plays. Plays out a little bit. Comes off his hand rolling and whacks out the 10. Boy, he did something interesting in practice. Practiced mostly inside because he had a great reaction on the outside.
And his idea there was he didn't want to mess up that shot that's out there right now. And if he plays in, all he's going to do is move the oil inside down a little bit, maybe create even a better shot for himself, a little hold and swing. That's what every player looks for.
Well, he's also got an A and a B game, though, which is, I think, what you have to be successful out here. Straight up with the hand. 2-8. 10-pin took off.
Ball didn't make it back. Mark's known for having one of the best hand releases, cleanest hand releases on the tour. Switched to 4 steps last fall and stuck with it all the way through the winter, even though this is his first telecast. And he likes it much better, that it helps his swing. That it gives him something to think about as he pushes the steps at the same time. 5 steps, he found out he was doing basically nothing as he converts the spare with that first step, so he thought this was easier for him. I could identify with that. I like the idea of pushing and stepping on the first step, something to really concentrate on.
What'd you do when you were taking 3 steps?
Well, I thought differently then.
Did you ever take 2?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, in league.
I wish I hadn't asked that. Now I wish.
For the double, and leaves the 4-pin.
I've got to follow up. Why did you take 2?
Well, it was just experiment practice, in league. I shot 298 one.
Well, we know what the average builder is going to be next week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-step approaches.
Well, we did 3, 4, 5, and 6 one time.
I know. We ran out of time. That was a saga. Wasn't a tip. It was a documentary. Spare up for Bryan Goebel as we take a look at the green that they're shooting for here this afternoon. 24, 13, 8, 6, and 5.
Marshall went home with 8, and the loser of this match is going to take home 13.
Do you own a dishwasher but only use it for storage or as a drying rack? Get better results than hand washing with your dishwasher and casket.
It's been a good one for Goebel. He comes right back with a carbon copy shot.
And Mark Williams made him finish on the right lane. You see the standings here. Williams moved into first place into match play and stayed right there throughout the match play. Goebel near the top all the way through. He was qualifying lead.
Switch to your dishwasher and cascade complete.
Oh, that pretty head release in the solid 9 pin as the ball doesn't deflect at all. See more and more of that in the contemporary game today with those high surface friction bowling balls hitting these pins, coming in from those extreme angles. You see a lot of solid 9 pins. Switches balls and throws straight at the spare.
The thing that I find unusual about Mark Williams, and I watched him ever since he won his first title in '84 back in Waukegan, doesn't seem to be overtly affected by good breaks or bad breaks.
He's very steady. Doesn't seem to be affected by pressure either. I mean, he can throw under the most intense pressure the same shot as he'd throw in practice. Very even-tempered person.
A little more room. Ooh, beautiful shot. Oh, I think that was a range finder there, and he'll remember the coordinates of that strike on the left-hand lane.
The coordinates, huh? Watch this. He sets the ball down, goes over about the second arrow out to maybe the second board at 45 feet. And that's the result. All 10 in the pit. Goebel up 1, looking to make it 11. Swings it way out there and trips the 4. Boy, you got that reaction, and Kelly says, do it again, honey.
Man, that looked like it was going to go just a touch high, but I think his ball does have a tendency to roll out a little bit.
Definitely does.
And rolling out, what we're saying there is that the last 15 feet, the ball doesn't continue to turn and dive to the left. It flattens out a little bit.
And he said, that's fine with me that it flattened out when it did.
Mine used to be flat for about 58 feet.
3 in a row. Has to hurry. Interesting, when he gets it in on that left lane, it skids a little bit further and doesn't make it back as he leaves the 2 and the 8 pin right here.
Talking to himself, that's his good lane, and he knew that he missed on the lane that he realized.
He wants to get it like Mark Williams did, get it a little bit wide where it hits that dry first and second board or so and banks right in there. Not an easy spare. He made it look easy, though.
All right, coming up immediately following our Kessler Classic, our live Preakness special on ESPN. We'll strike the gold, win the second step in the Triple Crown.
You think he will?
Yep. What do I know about horses, though?
That's why I turned that question back to you.
My good friend Larry Horner back in Akron told me last week that Strike the Gold would easily win the Kentucky Derby, so I made my $1 personal wager and came out ahead.
And Mark Williams, who had thrown 2 shots in a row in the pocket on the right lane, doesn't make a good shot on a chance to take the lead in the match. Goes Brooklyn, leaves the 6 pin. Right now, he's just fighting to make good shots. Mark's a 4-step player, holds the ball waist high, pushes his steps basically at the same time with a little bump up with the push away. The ball's right in time here. See the backswing, bends that elbow a little bit, nice long slide, and the pretty hand release, and the follow through right up past the right ear. Sends it out there.
A little more speed on that shot, and he leaves the 2-8. Which is exactly what he did previously on that lane.
And the speed is critical for him. When he throws it just a little bit harder, it doesn't make it back, and this is the result, because it goes to the same place then. Just the ball speed kept the ball from coming in. 2 and the 8. Again, we've seen that spare a number of times. Goebel just made it. Will Williams make it? Nope.
You keep leaving that, sooner or later you're going to have a problem, which is what Mark Williams did right there in the 6. So Goebel now leads by 22 and can take a lot of control here as you see the deep breath.
Well, these guys can keep scoring their head, and they know immediately in those types of situations. They may not know exactly. They just know it's in the 180s to 2-0, about 20 pins. He's thinking in his mind that he can really take a commanding lead with a couple of strikes.
Got it inside the target.
Way inside, and he's going to get a strike off the wall. I don't even know what pin. That might have been the head pin coming back and hitting the 3. Oh,
another
my
lucky
goodness. Every once in a while, you get the major break.
There it is, coming right at us. And he just kind of threw a scared shot, got the ball well left of his target. It's going left here. Should get on. Watch the head pin. It goes back. And it's the head pin that gets the 5.
Just nudged it. Mark Williams right now grimacing as Goebel comes up and obviously throws the double. Doesn't it always happen that way?
Well, you have to take advantage of those breaks, Dan. I mean, you don't get that many, and you've got to take advantage of them. Right now, Mark Williams, who's known for his pressure bowling and being cool under the heat, has to draw on that reserve and start stringing strikes right now.
Could shoot 226, but he's got to go all the way to the wall to do so.
He's high on the Brooklyn.
Uh-oh.
He says, well, you can do it. I'll go solid.
Computer right now processing that information, and I don't necessarily think that he cared much for that last shot.
Right now, he doesn't care. It's struck, and the primary thought in his mind is he's got to take advantage of it as Goebel did. He's got to strike here to get himself back in the match. Down 32, can knock it to 22.
Lower speed, and does not get the break on the 10 pin.
And he knows that it's a sad story right now. He had to have that strike to keep himself in it. Switches balls, cross lane at the 10 pin. Has the 10 pin, but I don't think he has the title. Bryan Goebel is in a position to really put this match away with a couple of strikes right here and put it completely out of range. Best Mark Williams can get is 206 if he strikes out. Goebel going in a 218 pace right now.
Inside the target again.
Goebel just got another.
Back Brooklyn's. All Mark Williams can do is think,
Well, it happened
Tough
last
breaks.
week. John Madison got 2 Brooklyns on strikes last week. And
Today we're going to have to bring back the Shriner scoring system. You know what that is?
Boy, you get docked for going Brooklyn?
No, you get a little B next to it.
Oh, okay, there it is.
But I'm going to change the whole philosophy in that thing. We're going to have L's for light hits, P's for pocket strikes. Brooklyn, what do you think about that?
Well, right now I think Goebel just wants to get a mark right here. And he's going to have this title locked up. Spare or a strike here.
Ooh.
He's happy with that. Just
That's
a 2
simple.
pin.
2 pin.
He makes that. He can open in the 10th frame and still win.
Well, coming into this one, he had won $18,790 this year. He will
And 24,000 of that. That puts him over 40,000 for the year. And
made $67,000 last year and made the majority of that on the summer tour. So he told me, I feel very comfortable in the summer. Maybe it's because I get out, play a little golf, relax a little bit, get out of the bowling center and enjoy myself a little more. And I know one thing, Jay Robinson used to just kill him in the summer. A lot of players do that.
well, sometimes, I don't know, they got arthritis and the summer weather loosens up those joints.
Well, I know it helps you a little bit, but I don't know if it's enough. And the classic, yes, I can always strike when it doesn't mean...
But did you see what he did there? He moved inside where there was more oil. He got a more consistent reaction. The ball went right to the pocket.
Still could shoot 206.
And that was the angle, you know, that you talked about earlier. That was his B plan. He didn't go to B plan quick enough.
No. But the A plan was probably just good enough in the practice balls
To suck him out there.
Sure. And that's where you want to play. He's played there all week long. That's right. I mean, you're always going to try and go to the area of the lane that you played and had the most confidence in throughout the week.
And when you think about it, if he strikes there in the 8th frame, then he is still in this match. He could have, as you said, had 226 and would have made Goebel strike in the 10th frame to win the match.
And he throws a good shot in the left-hand lane, just left that little half-10.
Right, didn't quite get the finger lift that he got that first ball in the 10th frame here. But again, he's relaxed now. It's out of the wood. Leaves the 2 pin. He's going to wind up with 195. But Bryan Goebel is going to be our champion. He has enough right now without even showing up for the 10th frame.
And that's the way you like to win championships, especially when it's been a winner like he has had, where he's, I think, cashed 9 out of 14 tournaments, but just could not get to the championship round or win a tournament.
Well, winning's the name of the game. You know, it's going to put him back in the Firestone Tournament of Champions again next year. And he's just very pleased with this week's effort.
Bryan Goebel,
Just enough for a win.
the winner here of the $145,000 Kessler Classic. A little anticlimactic, but that's because he bowled enough to get Mark Williams early on. But a couple of Brooklyns, boy, the one with the head pin coming back and taking out the 5, that was the key shot.
Back in the 6th frame, yeah. Anything could have happened with that shot. He'd have been happy just to have the 5 pin stand on that shot and get a spare out of it. And wound up with a strike and made it a double, and then he came back with another Brooklyn.
Just trying to finish the game out, and he does. So it's a 224 to 195 victory. Bryan Goebel with a hug from his wife, and now the victory kiss. And when we come back, we'll talk to the happy couple here in Riverside, California.
Like and subscribe.